Hi, my name is Zach Simmons, and this is another prediction episode of Pro Football Today. Today we're going to be looking through the incredible NFC South. What could possibly go on there? All four teams actually do have a shot in winning division. So let's just jump right in. Fourth, I'm going to keep Carolina there. I'm going to keep Carolina at fourth place. The other three teams are just amazing, and Carolina still has a couple things to work out, mainly when it comes to their offense. Teddy Bridgewater is another quarterback. He comes in from the Saints after having a few very good games for the Saints last season in relief for Drew Brees. Curtis Samuel's still there. DJ Moore's still there. And then they add Robbie Anderson to that arsenal as well, which just adds another big playmaker. Anderson's a very big playmaker. So that's definitely going to help out this offense. This offense has struggled when it came to receivers. Kelvin Benjamin really just kind of dropped off. DJ Moore had to kind of pick up where he left off and tried to be the rising star that Kelvin Benjamin never was. So Robbie Anderson's going to kind of help that out. They really haven't had this sort of duo. I can't remember the last time they had a duo like this with Anderson and DJ Moore, and then also having Curtis Samuel there as well. A big issue when it comes to their offense is Greg Olsen, reliable tight end, is gone, and given he wasn't very reliable this last season. So now you have some question marks when it comes to tight end. What's going to happen there? Is Ian Thomas going to be the guy there? But there's been another issue as well when it comes to the secondary. Eli Apple is going to be out for a few weeks. He's on the IR. This means that rookie fourth rounder Troy Pride Jr. now has to be the starter. He's going to be going against Tampa Bay, I believe it's week 2. So he's going to be covering Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. They lose Bradbury, they lose Cockrell. They do bring in Apple, like what I said, on the IR. Russell Douglas is just brought in just a couple days ago. This is a good team. They're definitely a good team. They had a really good shot if Cam Newton didn't get hurt, if he wasn't hurt. The first 2 games weren't very good for Cam, but you can also say that, well, he was hurt those 2 games. He was still dealing with injury. They need that reliable quarterback, and Teddy Bridgewater. He showed last year that he can be that guy again, but there's still a lot of question marks over if Teddy Bridgewater can be an exceptional quarterback. I think he was a little overhyped this year. Yes, he was great with the Saints. Even then, though, he doesn't have the greatest rap sheet. We'll see exactly what he can do there with Carolina. I mean, he has the weapons. He's got Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. He should be okay. But I just don't feel like this roster is better than the other 3. Third place, I have the Atlanta Falcons. And a lot of the biggest reason why I had the Falcons there is lack of consistent running back. They lose Devontae Freeman. Devontae Freeman really hasn't been the same the last few years. I mean, he's been hurt a lot. They've had to do a lot more with Tevin Coleman. Well, last year Tevin Coleman left, so then Ito Smith kind of had to fit that role. They bring in Todd Gurley then. Gurley's issue is kind of the same thing. I mean, he got hurt back in 2018. That kind of crept his way into 2019. And, I mean, as he's reporting to the team said, we're not even sure if he's 100%. We're not sure exactly where Todd Gurley is at right now. That's a huge concern. So I think for that reason, they're definitely going to fall back a little bit. This is still a fantastic offense. Yes, they lose Austin Hooper. They also bring in Hayden Hurst so they kind of take that spot. Hayden Hurst should be just fine. And I'm kind of expecting close numbers to what Austin Hooper's been able to do the last couple of years there. They lose Vic Beasley, but then they bring in Dante Fowler Jr., who can kind of They're very similar players. They lose Trufant. They bring in Denard. They draft A.J. Terrell in the first round, who is right now in the depth chart. He's the number one corner. He's the number one guy. Atlanta should be just fine. They have a chance of making playoffs. I don't actually have it making playoffs. I don't, and that's just because the NFC is just phenomenal. There's so many teams that can take those playoff spots. Atlanta's going to be in the hunt. They're going to be, right now I have them and Chicago in the hunt, and I think they're going to be better than Chicago. They're going to be the team that just gets out in week 17. So if they can make some moves, especially establish that running game, Atlanta could jump over one of the other two teams and be able to make the playoffs. But number two, this is close. This is really close. Both of these teams will make playoffs. But number two, I will be putting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, they got Brady. Yes, they got Gronk. Yes, they got Fournette and McCoy. I get it. But just looking, it's nothing against Tampa. It's nothing against Tom Brady. The Saints are incredible. The Saints, I think, have gotten actually pretty good. I think they've gotten better. And it's hard for me to put Tampa, a team that we really haven't seen click yet. We don't know exactly what they're going to be. You can have a monster team on paper, but they can instantly implode. Just look at what happened to Cleveland last season. They had everything right on paper. They built a championship quality team, but then everything imploded. That could happen here in Tampa. It's just that they have so many new parts, especially in the offense. The only thing consistent is the receiving core. I mean, yeah, they lose Perryman, but Scotty Miller then kind of takes a step up to the third string role. They still have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They still have two other three incredible tight ends. Those two being Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard. They add Gronkowski into the mix there. So when Gronkowski goes down, because Gronk will go down at some point, they still have two capable tight ends there. So with all the moving parts in offense, you can say, well, they have all these new parts. They should be able to work. When you have so much new, sometimes it takes a little some time to get rolling. If they can get that momentum and build that momentum offensively and then also defensively, then sure, I think they can take out the Saints. But I'm gonna bet that it's gonna take them a few weeks. While the Saints don't necessarily have to go through that. They were great last season. They keep a lot of the same players, and they also add a couple amazing playmakers in there as well to kind of keep the ball rolling. So it really depends on how the first few weeks go for Tampa. It's going to help against Carolina with them playing Troy Pride Jr. their corner. That could help them take out the steamroll past the Panthers to build some momentum there. But it's tough. It really is tough. You have a new quarterback. You have two new running backs. Ronald Jones supposedly will be the guy. I think there's a good chance he can be the guy. But I also think there's a good chance as well that Fournette could take the lead role. I mean, it's 50-50 right now between those two. One was going to take the lead role by midseason. And we'll see if Ronald Jones can keep that job or if Fournette's going to take that. But you add two new running backs into the mix. So both of them should be getting some sort of playing time. You add a new tight end to the mix. And don't forget they also drafted Keyshawn Vaughn. So 3 running backs in the mix. That's a lot of new things that everything needs to be gelling. You have to build that chemistry. And because of that, because of lack of stability, and I don't mean that these guys are just going to be awful. What I mean by lack of stability is they haven't really built that momentum up yet. They're not building it from last season. A lot of their offensive starters were not with them last season. So because of that, it's going to take some time. They'll make the wild card spot. They'll get in the wild card. In fact, I have them as a top wild card spot in the NFC. But I just don't see them taking out the Saints. Saints were very good last season. Even without Drew Brees, they were great. They add some receiver help. They lose Ted Ginn. Ted Ginn's kind of that Mr. Reliable. Well, they have a new Mr. Reliable. Doesn't have the speed, Ted Ginn, but they bring Emmanuel Sanders, who I think is still an underrated receiver. I think people look at him and say, well, no, he's past his prime. He's too old. He can still do amazing things. He's still a capable receiver 1, and they have him as a receiver 2. They also add some safety help with Malcolm Jenkins, replacing Von Bell. They do lose Eli Apple. Apple's gone. He's with Carolina, but their corners still look great. Janoris Jenkins, Patrick Robinson, of course, Marshawn Lattimore. They added Cesar Ruiz in the first round. He will be the starting guard. And the Saints, they didn't lose a whole lot. They didn't gain a whole lot. You can say, well, they kind of stayed the same. Those two playmakers, and Emmanuel Sanders and Malcolm Jenkins and Michael Jenkins, I think makes him better. I think Cesar Ruiz has a good chance of being better than Larry Warford. There could be actually more stability on this team than what there was last season. So because of that, I'm keeping the Saints number 1. Now, I know some of you may disagree. It's a close call. I am fine if you want to argue that Tampa Bay is the better team. That's totally fine. I think there is a very big possibility that the Bucs can be better than the Saints this season. But I'm going to put my guess out there saying that with all these new things going, it's just going to take them a couple weeks. And because of that, they might be a game behind the Saints. By playoff time, they're going to be rolling. Yet a little sneak peek, I do not have them in the Super Bowl. If you've seen the video I did with Nick, you kind of know a little bit why. I can get more in depth with that during the playoff episode. But that's what I got for you for the NFC West. That's where I got Carolina number 4, Atlanta number 3. And like what I said with Atlanta, if they can just add that stability at running back, if they can produce a little bit more on defense, I think, well, mainly just don't get hurt on defense. Atlanta does have a shot to kind of take out Tampa. There's that possibility. I think it more unlikely Tampa Bay can beat them out. Atlanta does not take a wild card spot. Tampa Bay will, number 2. Like what I said, you can argue either way, Tampa or New Orleans. It's going to be close. They're going to be within a game. Who knows? It could be within a half a game. But it's going to be very, very close. I'm having Tampa Bay number 2 just because of all those new pieces moving around. And the Saints, a lot of them have been, there's not a whole lot of turnover. They do add a couple better playmakers than what they had before. And I think that's just going to kind of push them over the edge for that one game. That's going to help them out. The Saints will be number 1. So thank you so much for watching. That's what I got for today. You'll see a couple more videos coming out as the week goes on. As we approach week 1, we're just a couple days away. Can't believe it. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Please put some comments down. No, I'm probably going to be getting a good amount of angry Buccaneers fans. Totally fine. Put it in there. Any positive, negative comments, either way, make sure you write them down. I hope you have a good rest of your day.